Great. Thank you, Andrew. Um, for those of you who don't know me, I'm Doug Neidig. I am the Sustainability Unit Manager for the Ozarks Environmental and Water Resources Institute at Missouri State University. And we provide sustainability and pollution prevention technical assistance to manufacturers across the state and partner with MAM on many different projects. So welcome to this. I don't remember, this must be our fourth or fifth Best Practices Network. So thank you all for participating. This kind of came out of all of your ideas for wanting to share ideas and best practices. And I think it's been going great. Had a lot of good topics and discussions. And for this one, we're really appreciative to have a couple companies to talk to us a little bit about their experiences pursuing ISO 14000 certification. And this topic came up as we work with a lot of you all and learned both of these companies and their journeys as they were pursuing 14,000, but also had there seems to be a resurgence of interest in ISO 14,000 over the last couple of years. We're hearing it from a lot of different companies wanting more information about ISO 14,000. I'm wondering if it's a good fit for them. So we kind of thought this would be a great opportunity to have you hear from a couple companies who have started their journey in that process and give you opportunities to ask some questions. We're going to do this as kind of informal panel discussion. We have two companies here. First is Walker Products, and Walker Products began supplying fuel system needs to the automotive industry in 1946. Today, they are one of the largest privately owned manufacturers of fuel system components and engine sensors. They serve original equipment manufacturers, co-manufacturers, traditional aftermarket distributors, rebuilders, and retail customers in automotive. Also heavy-duty fuel, engine sensor, and exhaust markets worldwide. And from Walker Products, we have Brittany Verana, who is the Human Resources Manager.
Yes.
And Oliver Mendoza, who is the Director of Quality. We also have SRC Automotive, and SRC Automotive is one division of a family of SRC companies throughout Springfield that are employee-owned and managed. SRC Automotive Division works with OEMs like Ford, GM, Mercury, Harley-Davidson to build new and remanufactured engines for some of their engine platforms. They also do quite a bit of machining and raw casting and finished components as well. And with SRC Automotive, we have Curtis DeWitt, who is the Environmental Health and Safety Manager for SRC Automotive here in Springfield. So welcome, all of you. Thank you very much for participating in this Best Practices Network. It's Friday. I'm already thinking about that too. I go on vacation next week, so it's really starting to get to me. So what we're going to do today, just going to do kind of a panel discussion. I'm going to ask our panelists just some questions, give them some time to respond. We'll go through those, just kind of discussion, and then we'll, as Andrew mentioned, we'll open it up for any of you all to ask any questions, building on what we might have already talked about or anything that we have not discussed. Just give you an opportunity to kind of pick their brain a little bit, get a little bit more information about their experiences. So with that, let's get started here. So let's first start with Walker Products. Why did your company choose to pursue ISO 14000?
Sure. To directly answer that question, a couple of things under to fulfill compliance obligations. One of the compliance obligation is to meet government environmental laws and regulations. And then the second one is to meet customer requirements. So we have, since the past 2 years, I would say that we have more and more customer asking us if we're ISO 14001 certified. And so they started through their requirements is to procure new business with them, with our current customers, our big customers like Bosch, Denso, European customers. they're requiring us to be an ISO 14001 certified to procure new business. So that's when our executive management decided, oh, we're going to pursue ISO 14001, and that started last year. And so that kind of kickstart our program here at Walker Products.
Great. And I probably should state, I'm sure everybody on the call party knows, but ISO 14000 is an international standard for environmental management systems. So that's what we're talking about today. All right, Curtis, how about you? Why did SRC choose to pursue ISO 14000?
I would say it was kind of the same reason as Walker there too. Ours was we were trying to get into the business with Ford at the time. They weren't one of our customers. So we reached out to Ford, and they have like a tiered program that you can start out with their business. But in order to do more business with them, you have to meet their qualifications. And ISO 14001 was one of those qualifications. So in order for us to do business with Ford, we needed to get that. So that's where it started with that. Come to find out later down the line, I guess we've been doing business with GM for decades. So SRC originally started in the early 80s. And I want to say the automotive branch got started up in the early 90s. And one of our main clients during that time was GM. So find out a little while later, after we got everything done with the Ford and we got the ISO certification for them, come to find out Ford, or not Ford, but GM was requesting it at one point in time too. And we just never went about getting it for whatever reason. But now that we've got it, they're really excited about that too. So, but yeah, so we just started out with Ford, and it kind of branched off with that. But it's the same thing. A lot of companies are asking for this certification as well as the quality certification that we have. So we decided it was time to move towards that.
Okay. Right. Curtis, will stick with you. How long did it take you to develop your program once you decided to move forward with it? And did you use any outside consultants, or did you do it all in-house?
We started with outside consultants. So I am the one EHS manager for SRC Automotive. It all kind of falls on me. We have two different locations. We have a location here in Springfield, and we have another division or another location out in Monette. So I run the safety for both of those. At the time when they said, "Oh, we're going to have to move towards this," I said, "I need help." So the plan was for us to reach out to an outside contractor and have them work with us on this. So we reached out to Environmental Works, a company here in Springfield, or EWI as most people call it. We reached out to them. They work a lot with our environmental stuff anyways. Since I am the one person on this, I reach out to them a lot. And they were glad to help. They come in, and the first thing they wanted to do is they wanted to do a mock audit. So they came in, did a mock audit for us. We realized where we were at approximately, and then we got a quote for them to do it, to actually go ahead and get us, help us to get certified and everything like that. And the quote was a little bit higher than our management team wanted to spend. So they changed it up on us and said, "Okay, we're doing this in-house." So again, I told them, I can't do this alone, so I need help. So I reached out to our quality department, and after a couple months of working on it, off and on working on it, he was able to come up with the plan, or come up with the policy for us. One of our other divisions was ISO 14001 certified already, so we reached out to them and got whatever documentation we could get from them, so we weren't starting from scratch. But over a couple months period, we basically started in it. What was it? Late October of 2023 is when he started working on it, the quality person. And by early January, he had the program written. And by what was it, February or March, we had stage one, our stage one audit done. And we were about a month away from getting our stage two audit done in April of 2024. So kind of moved pretty quickly once he got involved. But for me, I will say I dragged my feet on it for a little while because it was just me, and I was trying to get everything else done too. So, but it it works. And yeah, it worked fine. We went through. We didn't have any issues. She thankfully most of our stuff was already set up through quality already. So we just incorporated into a lot of our quality documents already, which helped us out in the long run.
So for years, did you write a separate system, or did you merge it with your existing 9000 program?
We wrote a separate one. So
Okay.
one thing that and I believe you may have even mentioned this to me at the time when we were going through this, because I know we talked about it a lot, I think you recommended that we did not do the audits at the same time. So our IATF audit and our ISO audit were two separate audits. We did not merge those two together. So we have a separate environmental policy that goes over the ISO standard. About a 3 or 4 page document, kept it fairly simple, went through all the different sections of it and kept it very simple, but it worked well for them. But a lot of our other documentation that we had for quality, we were able to incorporate some of the audits into it and stuff like that, or reference it back to it, the forms and all that. But yeah, we keep the audits separately, especially when they come out and do that, because it's just easier for them just to look at one thing as opposed to multiple different things.
Okay.
I hope that answered what you were talking about.
Yes, it did. Yeah, my experience when I worked with Eaton, yeah, we kept ours separate too, just because merging it just opened them to audit everything, and yes. That could be good and bad. So keeping it separate for us at the time too made a lot of sense, and a lot more efficient, and allowed us to focus more on it too. So
exactly.
All right, Oliver, Brittany, how about you guys? How long did it take you guys to complete your? Well, I know you're still pursuing your certification, but to get your program up and running.
I'll answer the latter part of your question. No, we did not use consultant since we've been compliant for over 11 years. So when the customer asks us if we're ISO 14001, we always answer to them that we're compliant to ISO 14001, and that was enough, for them to accept it. And so we didn't have to pursue 14001 certification back then. And so now that, like I mentioned, the past years, they've been asking us if you're ISO 14000 certified. That's when we kickstart our program. So some of the things that we've developed our EMS manual, or most of the environmental management system is developed, and with the help of, like Curtis said, we have quality management system that's been there for many, many years. So we're, as far as the internal audit reporting procedure, the corrective action procedure, the management review, those are in place. So we kind of cross it towards environmental to fulfill meet that requirements. And like Curtis said, we have a separate system for our environmental management system because it requires specific procedures, like our spill response procedure, emergency response, so forth, and those things that needed to develop new procedures for those and keep it separate from quality. So we developed those this year, so like I said, we've been compliant for since October 2013, and our EMS manual has gone through several revisions. The last one being in December 2020, and so this year I did the environmental training for all employees. So that helped quite a bit. Make sure they're aware that, hey, we're pursuing certification, and you need to have the knowledge and understanding of what our policies and objectives and aspects and impacts and our metrics that we're tracking. So yeah, as far as how long did it take us to develop our program, I would say for over 11 years now, we have the system in place. So it was just not certified. So that's what we're working on.
Okay, well, great. Well, it's always interesting to hear, companies like yours who, had put a lot of the components in place and kind of self-certifying. You don't hear a lot of those companies self-certifying anymore. So that's great to hear. And you've been obviously working in your system for many years. So this is a good next question. So since you've been working in your system for many years, how what have you already seen reductions in terms of waste reduction, energy savings, cost savings? Um, that you've obviously you've been working with this for a while, so I'm sure you've had some good opportunities.
So that's one of the things that we're missing. Our objectives is compliance to air emissions, to energy, to reduction of waste, reduction of water usage. And so we, as far as our KPIs or metrics, we haven't been tracking that. So I started tracking that since last year. Even more, I'm going back to 2023 to see as far as if we have reduction, we achieve reduction. And just to give you, unfortunately, I wish I could tell you that we have reduced electricity usage. We had another building. We used to have 3 buildings. Now we have 4 buildings, and the last building is using electricity to power and to heat the building. So I've seen an increase in electricity. So I don't know if that's a good comparison between the 3 buildings we had before and the 4 buildings now. So I could probably remove building 4 to compare to 2023 to 2025. And so far, I've seen an increased usage in the last 4 months comparison. But as far as the gas usage, we've improved by 26.3% from 2023 to 2024. And I've been tracking 2024 and 2025. I tracked the first 4 months through April, year to date, and we have an increase of 18.2% to 4%. And the reason why is just in building 1, we have an increase in that. And the reason why is because we have a heater that we haven't been using, and it was just idle for a year. And they found out, oh, we need to turn that on, and they did turn that on. And I just found out, like, hey, that's why our gas usage has increased because of that. As far as the water usage, we have a 1% reduction. I'm happy to report that one. Compared to 2024. We also have from 2023 to 2024, we have 5.65% improvement or reduction in water. And that's due to the sustainability practices that we've implemented. And I know Doug, you did a report for us 2 years ago, 2023. And one of them is to install low flow faucets or motion sensor and flush toilets. And we did that. And that's contributing to the improvement in our water usage or the decrease of usage. As far as waste, we have a good waste management program. We recycled a big improvement. I was looking at the numbers as far as our waste for last 2025 so far. As far as we recycled 40,379 pounds. And then last year we recycled 31,090 pounds. So instead of that going to the waste, we've been recycling those actually making money from recycling them. So quite a big of improvement there as far as waste.
Oh, great. And then you guys still operating quite a bit of solar panel systems on.
Yes, so that's one of that's been implemented for, I think, since 2016. Don't quote me on the year or before that. And we've been quite a bit of as far as payback from Ameren Electric Company on our solar. And we increased. There's a phase 1, phase 2, phase 3. The phase 2 project on the solar panel is to double the input or output, whatever you want to call it. And we've reduced our electricity as far as electricity bill by getting that payback. And now we have the building 4. It's even more solar panels because it's a bigger building. So we put more solar panels there that we're getting payback every year. Yep.
Oh, great. All right, Curtis, how about you? Have you guys worked about a year? How have you been doing in terms of any results yet?
Well, unofficial results based off from what we've been doing and all that. The two, I would say we didn't use them anything for our goals or anything for like this annual this annual recertification on it. Actually, just as a side note on it, we did when we initially put in for our goals for the 2024 year to 2025, our goal was to become ISO 14001 certified. So we reached that goal, obviously, in April of 2024, and we never reset any goals on top of it. So when we went through that the audit last month, we actually got questioned on that. It's like, well, where were your other goals? At the time, we were like, we met our goal. This was, it didn't say specifically, but we were like, well, we met our goal, which was to become ISO certified. And she's like, yeah, but she goes, you really should have gone ahead and added a few more goals to it. So during our the annual review, I guess we received one minor nonconformance for not having any up-to-date goals. So, but that doesn't mean that we didn't have. That means that we didn't have them written down. We just had some other ones that. And she's like, yeah, she could see that we had some goals. They just weren't written down as our goals. But some of the things that we were looking at then too. So I looked over the last couple of years since like 2023 to 2024, and part of it is because we've made a push to go more paperless in our facility. Is just on our standard copy paper alone. We reduced it from 2023 to 2024, and we're even on track now. We reduced it by like 54%. Our paper usage, just standard copy paper, nothing special, anything like that. I didn't go out beyond all that to figure that out. We reduced it by about 54%. Not a huge savings by any means when it comes to paper, but I mean that's just a huge, a lot less paper to be using. Part of it was our computer system. We were switching over to a new computer system too, which required less paper to go along with it. But yeah, that was something we were surprised at when I figured that out the other day when we were looking at it. I know you're aware that we've switched over. One of the things that we've done too is we've switched over we use a lot of brake parts cleaner here. We used to get just aerosol cans of brake parts cleaner and recycle the aerosol cans through the aerosol can recycler and all that then too. But we were looking for cost saving ways of dealing with this. And we came across, one of our sales guys came across this thing that you can buy a 55-gallon drum of brake parts cleaner, and they got like little refilling stations. So literally you buy the compressed air cans that they have. So you just fill it with compressed air, and it's a cost savings on it has been huge. I don't know specific amounts. I'm still working through some of the details on that based off the last couple of years. But it has saved us a lot in that, as well as just the scrap waste from the aerosol cans. So we no longer have all these aerosol cans. We're throwing in our scrap bins, and after they get punctured, we're no longer throwing them in scrap bins. But yes, we're doing a lot of that. As SRC in general, we are known for remanufacturing. I mean, we take core engines, strip them down, clean up the parts, remanufacture them back into within OEM specs, and then remanufacture engines out of them, and we sell them back to the like GM, Ford, stuff like that. So we do a lot of remanufacturing anyways, and a lot of recycling anyways on that then too. But we have gone back to pushed our materials department to be more on the recycling side than to of just our standard recycling to cardboard, paper, plastics, all that. We actually had a meeting yesterday because our corporate office is so. One of the things we do every now and then is we'll do mini games. A mini game is like, say, for example, we're having an issue in an area and we want to correct that issue. We'll have a mini game and we'll make a game out of it to make it better, and we'll give out small prizes and stuff like that. So one of the things our corporate office has asked us to do this year is to come up with, and we're having a competition between all the divisions, is we're having a mini game on environmental stewardship. So what we can do besides just check the boxes. So that's one of the things that we were looking at yesterday. We actually had a meeting with our management team to come up with and brainstorm ideas on mini games for the rest of this year. So we're looking at a lot of different things on that. So obviously one of them is chemical usage. We want to get more use out of some of the chemicals. We literally had a meeting with our materials department a couple of days ago about going from, in some of our CNC machines, we've got multiple different coolants, multiple different metalworking fluids and stuff that we deal with, and just going down to like one or two that will work with all of them. So obviously there's some things we need to work with on that. It's going to take a little time, but it's one of the things that we're looking at. We're going to have a mini game on mini games. Basically, we're going to reach out to every associate in the building and give them a small survey on environmental stewardship, what they believe that's necessary, where they could see that we might need improvement, and just get everybody's input on it. And we're going to make a mini game out of mini game ideas. So to give us more mini game ideas. We're going to designate one of our engineering group to reclaiming more parts than what we currently reclaim now. So I know there's been talk like timing chains and stuff like that about reclaiming those, because some of those we just can't reclaim, or we're not capable of reclaiming them right now and reusing them later. So we're looking at different ideas with that. I'm trying to think of the other one then too, of course, was to increase our recycling efforts in general. So those are about 4 different suggestions. We had ideas on mini games, and I'll be meeting with a few other people next week to kind of finalize the mini game ideas. So the whole point of the mini game is just you got about a 60 to 90 day window to try to see if we can turn things around. So the really thing on this is it's not really going to, I mean, while it may be a monetary benefit for us in some cases, but it's more of like change of mindset, as opposed to just check the boxes, being more environmentally sustainable, more environmental stewardship with the organization as a whole. So we're kind of looking at those sort of things. I know that probably didn't answer all of your question there, but I mean, we're still in the beginning process of it, and I don't have a lot of facts and figures that go along with it, but there are things that we are doing, and we're still working towards that. So.
No, that's great. Actually goes to my next question, because when I did ISO 14000, which was 20 years ago, I feel old. One of the best benefits that we did when we did it at Eaton Corporation was that employee engagement side. Mm-hmm. And kind of what, Curtis, you've already talked about how you're doing with your minigame processes. Once you train employees on ISO 14000, on your policies in your program, but, focusing on compliance, pollution prevention, and continuous improvement, which are the main 3 components of 14000, and pollution prevention being one, reducing waste, conserving energy. The best benefit that we ever saw was the ideas that came from the employees, from all operators on throughout the floor to maintenance teams, everybody. Just the number of ongoing ideas that they'd come up with for further reducing waste or conserving energy was great, and it drove a lot of cost savings. And that was one of the biggest benefits I think that we really saw with our 14000 program, is having the structure, continuous improvement structure. 14000 is awesome, but that employee engagement component really is what drove everything. So it sounds like you guys are doing a lot on that side with your mini games and stuff, which is awesome. Brittany or Oliver, how are you guys doing in terms of engaging employees, and are you starting to see ideas coming from employees?
Yes, so far we have 9 ideas turned in from instead of using paper towel, use an air dryer, and then from one that's kind of really and not feasible, I say, but it's still an idea. It's installing post-combustion carbon capture systems. And so this person from engineering turned us in, but he didn't have any idea as far as a plan or how to put it, develop this thing. So I pretty much, kind of said it's not feasible right now due to reasons of, what it looks like. But it's a great idea, right? Because we have a lot of, as far as forklift we operate here that emits gas and things like that, and especially also trucks. One of the things that the trucks that we're doing is making sure that the truck operator is shutting off their truck while in the bay, unloading trucks and loading. So yeah, we have several ideas already, and actually one of them is to install the low flow faucets, because we had that in building 4 installed for all the bathrooms there, except in the other buildings. So we've implemented that since. So yeah, and as far as I would say 99% employee awareness of environmental management system, what compliance obligation means, as far as reducing our carbon footprint, as far as when we have environmental incident, to report it, improvement ideas, and other sustainable practices that we're working on. So yeah.
Okay. Well, great. Yeah, I like 14,000 from the standpoint, you do it well, it does just drive that continuous component and that engagement. And, as you're getting those ideas and you're implementing them, obviously both of you, you're tracking it and being able to report back, here's how much you're saving, here's how much waste you're reducing, your overall impacts, just keeps driving that engagement because employees see, the results of what they suggested, they see it be put into action and they want to provide more ideas. So,
Yeah. Can I add one more thing?
yeah.
One of the things that we've done too is we had the e-recycling event last year. So our IT team suggested that let's recycle old electronics from employees that has it. So we brought for a period of, I would say, how long, Brittany? Like a month or so.
I would, yeah, it was about 2 or 3 months that we had
Okay,
a
more than that.
Gaylord out where people can either take old equipment out of it and reuse it for whatever they need, or the end goal, Walker was going to take it and recycle it accordingly. But yeah.
So we've collected 5 Gaylords of this used electronic. And yeah, like Brittany said, some of the employees can reuse the computer, revive it if they could. So reuse for their family. Yeah, it was good.
Yeah, that's a great program.
Yeah.
Great. All right. Last question I have for you. We'll open up to everybody in the call. So what do you see? Obviously, it sounds like both of you pursue 14,000, mainly customer requests to get more business and those type of things. Are there other benefits that you've already started to see? Maybe some of the things we talked about, but what do you see going forward over the next 5-10 years as in terms of what do you see to get out of your 14,000 program? We'll start with Walker.
Yes. So I think for us, as far as what we're going to gain is to implement more sustainable practices. And back in several years ago, we have a recycling cans and bottles. So we're kickstarting that again. We also have other environment as far as pollution prevention, as you call it. We've installed efficient air compressor. From the report that you did, we had air leaks. We fixed all that. Efficient as far as LED lighting for all the building, motion sensor lights. So it's that's what we're gaining as far as the company wise. We're here to to save the company money and to reduce costs, and while meeting customer requirements, right? So those are the things that really we're gaining. And as far as other things like as I do tracking the numbers, I like to track numbers. So I set our target goal to be a reduction of 0.05%. As far as for each building, 0.0125%. And so far we're making good improvements on that, except the electric. We have to work on that somehow. But with the solar, I know that's giving us an improvement there because we're not really paying the amount that we're using because we're getting it back through solar production. So a lot of employees actually is as far as them, they see the benefits because they also implement that at their houses, as far as recycling and reducing electric use and water use and other things. So getting more efficient appliances. So yeah, that's what we're looking to gain program over time. So
And
also,
I'd also like to,
just go ahead, Brittany.
Sorry, Oliver, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No,
But
go
I
ahead.
would also like to add that we are also gaining intangible items, you know. These sustainable practices are, you know, um, what other customers, what employees want to see. So when they know that they are part of a company that is trying to reduce our global footprint, it makes it a better place that they want to be at. And overall, the things that we put in place have made improvements to a lot of our processes, which again is ideal for our staff on the floor. So again, the intangible items is we're making it a better place to work, a better place for the environment. So yes, thank you, Oliver.
Yeah. No, thanks for adding that.
Great. All right, Curtis, how about you? What do you think? What SRC expecting out of this over the years?
Well, I'm going to have to agree with both Oliver and Brittany on this, too, especially the employee involvement, employee engagement on that end. Obviously, customers. That's why we're here, is to make money for our company and all that then too. And we're all employee owned, so we benefit from all of that on our end. But yeah, the biggest thing is like the sustainable practices and stuff. That is huge for us. One of the things that I look forward to this on this end is for us. I mean, there are a lot of people in here that I would say are environmentally conscious on things. There are some here that it's more like monetary. So pushing them to look for better ideas, more sustainable opportunities, especially our engineers, looking and forcing them to kind of, I mean, at the beginning, yes, it's kind of forcing them to look at different options of this, but as they get through this, they'll be able to look at it like, okay, we've got to stay more sustainable on this. We've got to use the right type of product in here, something that's going to not impact the environment so much as well as other things too. So it's forcing them to get a new set of eyes on things and look at things differently, as opposed to just, oh, this is great, let's bring this in, and then 6 months down the road we realize, oh, wait a minute, this chemical is not very good for the environment and it's not very good for our people. So that's one of the things I have to go through and do, is every time we bring a chemical in, I'm required to, part of my job is requirement to review the chemical, everything that goes in it. And I've got even a list of chemicals that I'll just rattle off, and if it's got that ingredient in there, it's an automatic fail on my end, and I'm not letting it in the building because of just the environmental impact or the safety impact to our people. So for us, it's as I said at the beginning, it's a start to force them to look at things differently. But once they get used to it, and once we get more things behind it, it'll help in the long run with just environmental impact. Obviously, our customers want this to happen too. I mean, GM, Ford, they're really pushing hard. I know one of the things we had to complete earlier this year was the GHG protocol for GM. They asked for that. So that was something that we had never done before. So knowing now that they need that, and that needs to be updated every year, that's also going ahead and been added to it too. So again, I'm going to agree with both of them on this, with the pollution prevention, sustainability efforts, and just all of that in general. Our employee engagement is going to drastically increase then too, as I'm hoping.
Great. Well, I want to thank all of you for participating and answering these questions. And